Welcome into the Giants Hangout. It's week 15. Giants Hangout presented by Crestron. My name is Madelyn Burke alongside Jonathan Casillas, Brandon London, and Matt Citak. Guys, we got a good game this weekend coming up. The Big Easy. Giants headed to New Orleans to face the Saints. Giants on a 3-game winning streak. Tommy DeVito has captivated the hearts of New York Giants fans, the tri-state area. This team is playing loose, playing like they're having so much fun. But this Saints team and this Saints game, I mean, you know New Orleans, JC. They get loud at the Dome.
They do. I tell you what, they do get loud. And me and Schmelk will just talk about this on BBKL. The Giants are definitely prepping for it. They're indoors. They got that music cranked up loud whenever Tommy DeVito is taking snaps. But what I've seen from New Orleans in recent weeks, which I've never heard of it happening before, and I played there for 4 years, they boo their own offense. They boo when Derek Carr takes the field, and they would never dare to boo Drew Brees no matter what type of game he had. But they're booing him, and I think the Giants could use that to their advantage.
I mean, that just goes to show how folks will switch up on you in the NFL that fast. You know, they wanted him down there, him and Dennis Allen coming back together. They even had John Gruden helping out behind the scenes and helping Derek Carr get acclimated to DA's offense. Now, when you're not showing up, when you're in these big markets, when it comes to NFL fandom, they'll boo you like crazy. So that just, if I'm Tommy DeVito, I hope he listens to the Hangout to hear that, because it just goes to show, like, it's like we were talking about Paul Wall before this, like Mike Jones. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me.
281-330-8004.
So as long as he goes down there, puts up some good, strong numbers, you know, I think the defense rallies behind him and gets behind him, and the Giants come away with this win. But it's going to be a big task for him, and it presents another opportunity for him to show up, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, you guys mentioned Derek Carr, and I wouldn't say he's been playing at like the best that we've ever seen Derek Carr play throughout his career, but that does not mean that the Giants defense can overlook the Saints offense, because Carr is still an established veteran quarterback who's playing through what he said was multiple fractured ribs. I can only imagine how painful it is to be absorbing hits each and every week while having 3 fractured ribs. And they have a ton of very talented offensive playmakers surrounding him. I mean, Alvin Kamara is potentially the best pass-catching running back, or one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league. Chris Olave is one of the most up-and-coming, top talented receivers. Love Chris. I'm a big fan of Chris Olave.
And Olave is knocking on the door of his first 1,000-yard season.
Yep.
Yeah, he's approaching it. He's coming close, and it sounds like they might have Rashid Shaheed back. I think he returned to practice yesterday, and the Jimmy Graham is somehow still playing and still catching touchdown passes.
4 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Right?
It's
2
crazy.
touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. And like, what year is it right now? 2012?
Right.
So despite some recent, struggles offensively for the Saints, the Giants cannot overlook that unit.
Absolutely not.
They could, at a snap of a finger, turn it on and drop 30 points on any defense in this league.
Hey, JC, we were talking about Alvin Kamara, and Matt was talking about how dangerous he is. One thing we see when we watch the Giants defense, how lights out they've been, 12 turnovers in the last 4 weeks or so. One thing that scares me when it comes to them is running backs catching passes out of the backfield. You saw Breece Hall have success. You saw A.J. Dillon and those guys have some sort of success. So how does Bobby Okereke, Michael McFadden, Isaiah Simmons, that linebacker core, how do they stop that? Because that has been an Achilles heel in this defense that's been playing lights out.
Well, I think the number one thing is you don't take it as it's me against Kamara. You use your defenders. You use the tools that I think Wink Martindale's defense offers you, right? And I'm using, for example, the things I used to use. JPP, they didn't like it. But I would call a hit call, meaning if that running back is to your side, if he free releases, you got to hit him. That gives me a little bit of time because, receiver, corner, if he's on the line, how much separation? A yard? If he's pressed?
If you Kadarius Toney, a little more than a yard.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's no way as a linebacker, an off-the-board linebacker, I'm going to be even close to the guy I'm covering. So that gives you a little bit of time to get to your coverage in the running back position.
Yeah,
I say Bobby Okereke, don't make it me against Kamara.
Right.
Because Kamara can split out wide. And if you're lined up out wide, you're not helping the interior of the defense. So you got to be able to use the tools inside of the defense to help you with coverage. Because sometimes a Kamara or whoever the guy that they're covering is can put you at a run and pass discrepancy. It could be a challenge. You might have to cover Kamara, who's split out wide, but you gotta hit the A gap. That's hard. So you do things to stunt the line. You do things to help the line to help you not only get you in pass coverage, but for the run support as well.
Right. Well, and it's also to this game statistically kind of a little bit mirrors last week's Monday Night Football game in the fact that both teams, their defense against the pass has been better than their defense against the run.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look at the way that the Giants leaned on the run against the Packers on Monday Night Football, and you would think, okay, do they do that again this week against the Saints defense that has been really tough against the pass, but has been, 26th in the league against the run? Or do you look for some more of those short yardage plays, or do the Giants offense get, Saquon involved more in that short passing yardage game as well? Matt,
Well, yeah,
on that
Saquon
one?
involved early and often. They've been kind of. I'm sorry, Matt. I'll throw to you right after this, but I think Saquon needs to be involved early and often. When you look at his numbers, he had the one big run at the end with the fumble. Other than that, it was like 12 rushes for I believe like 30 something or 50 something yards. And you saw how stagnant or how slow the offense was in the beginning. I mean, in the first half. Now, Dable, Kafka, and those guys made some adjustments, and then you started to see them start cooking with some grease and some hot butter, and some plays started being made around there. But if I'm Saquon Barkley and JC, like you know the man, like I'm looking at that fumble. I don't think he slept all week, knowing the type of competitor and guy that he is.
He only lost 3 fumbles in his entire career. Yeah. Right, that was his 3rd one.
He came into the league having not fumbled at all in college.
Yep.
Yeah.
I go to Brian
How
Dable.
ironic is that the time he fumbles, first of all, he had 3 great runs before that. He 3 runs in a row where he was just taking over the game, and he fumbles by himself. How ironic is that?
But it's also, too, it's one of those plays that it's like, it's a tackle, but then, the momentum of the tackle kind of taking it down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but Matt, if you're Saquon, do you go to Kafka, or did you go to Kafka and Brian Dable and said, I want to win this? Well, not like but put it on me. I want to get back for my teammates. I'll put this game on me. Let booby spin, coach.
I mean, 100%. All 4 of us, around the building the last couple seasons know the type of person and how competitive Saquon Barkley is. I have no doubt in my mind that as soon as they lost that fumble, he went right up to Tommy, went right up to Coach Dable, Mike Kafka, and was like, give me the ball. Let me make up for this. Yeah. Give me the ball. I mean, the most shameful part about that, the fumble, was that it overshadowed the great run that he had, in which he eclipsed 5,000 yards rushing for his career. It happened on that fumble play, which, took a little shine out of that incredibly impressive milestone. But the recipe for the Giants offense this week is got to be very similar to what it was on Monday night. I mean, Saquon took 20 carries, averaged 4.3 yards per carry against the Packers. Again, not the best run defense, but that's what they're facing again this week with the Saints. And this was coming off of his lowest volume game of the season against the Patriots, in which he touched it, I believe it was only 13 times. Now, on Monday, he got 20 carries. I think it was 3 receptions, topped 100 yards from scrimmage for I would believe it's like the 4th time in the last 6 games. When they get him the ball and they give him a high volume, he turns it into yards and it turns into a ton of production. And that has definitely got to be, one of the top priorities for the Giants this Sunday.
Well, and also to that point about that fumble, the second the game was over, Saquon's tweeting, "My brothers bailed me out today. Flush it and keep moving on to the next." Hashtag
he was
Giants.
sitting on him, man.
He was like, I cannot wait. These Twitter fingers have some things to say.
Absolutely.
He's like, I know we just won. I know that I had an incredible accomplishment being the 5th player in Giants history to hit 5,000 rushing yards. But all I'm thinking about, and that's that dang fumble. And like you guys have all kind of alluded to, too, that's going to stick with him going into this week against another favorable matchup with a run defense that has been a little bit porous. I mean, last week against the Panthers, Miles Sanders had a season high in rushing. So
you know what I liked, and I think this is what helped the offense become efficient last week. I think Mike Kafka he was doing things early in the game that wasn't working. He was bringing in the extra lineman, two, I believe, at a time, and he was bringing them in, and the Giants really didn't get anywhere. Then they switched it up. They went to Wildcat, right? Boom. All of a sudden, Wandale breaks a run. They was getting Saquon the ball in different ways. They threw the flea flicker. They were doing things in different ways. The Giants can't get into this, we need to run the ball with Saquon habit. They don't need to do that. What they need to do is become diverse on offense,
right,
and allow Tommy DeVito to throw the football. Don't say, oh, we're going to give it to Saquon, we're going to give Saquon and let Tommy DeVito throw on third down. No, let's throw on first down to open up the lanes for Saquon. Because if you can get Saquon going, that in the totality will help your offense out. But I don't think you start with, say, let's get Saquon going right away by giving him the football, because as a linebacker, whenever you go into the defensive room, the first thing that's on the board, it says stop the run. That's always the first thing. And when you have a guy like Saquon Barkley, all I'm doing all week is thinking about how I'm going to hit Saquon Barkley. I'm going to hit him in the A gap. I'm going to catch him in the B gap on the power play. Oh, if he cuts back on the power play, I'm going to be right there. Like, all my thought process is stopping 26. That's just how it goes. Now, if you give me something else early in the game to think about, oh, play action, he pulled it out. Oh, okay, now that guard pull doesn't mean it's a run. Now I'm thinking about it. So now I see guard pull again. I'm a little bit slow. Saquon hits it, and I'm slow to make the tackle 3 or 4 yards up the field. So I think what Kafka did last week was open up the playbook, not just give the ball to Saquon, get the ball to Saquon, but no, let Tommy DeVito throw the ball.
Right.
Run a wildcat with him. Fake flea flickers to the fake run. Fake the run, play action pass, all of that stuff, I think helps the offense, but it also ultimately gets Saquon going.
Right.
When you mix it up, not just giving him the ball, but do other things, and then surprise Saquon's getting the ball on third or whatever.
Well, and not just Saquon, though. When you talk about the run game, Wandale Robinson had himself a ball game. I feel like last week, Monday Night Football was a Wandale Robinson game. He had some incredible plays. Those catches, that one catch that he had on the sideline that was right in front of Matt LaFleur, and he didn't even believe his own eyes. He threw the challenge flag. It was a foot away from him. He's like, that can't possibly be a catch, and it absolutely was. But he got some long runs going on as well. And the fact that Wandale Robinson, Brandon, as a receiver, you look at a receiver like Wandale and the versatility and the gadgetry that they're able to use with a player like that. How valuable is he?
I mean, he's that Swiss Army knife. There's a reason. He showed right there why they traded up to go get him in that second round. You know, I guess he's the future Sterling Shepard in a way. And you saw how Sterling Shepard mentored him last year and kind of got him going before the injury. And now you see how that's kind of benefited him as he's kind of got his sea legs back together and got acclimated back to the game. But I think that you could take advantage of not only the success that Wandale is having, but and still get Saquon the ball and still do things with Tommy DeVito. I keep wanting to say Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito. But
you've been good every time. You stop yourself halfway
with the RPO. Hey, hear me out here, JC. Why not go 10 personnel? Why not go 4 receivers? And Saquon back there. Use Isaiah Hodgins, who is ascending and who has shown that DeVito likes throwing to this kid. Especially we're going to see with Darren Waller what he can do in terms of what limits he has. But let's take that tight end out. And let's put this big body receiver in there.
Is he playing this week?
It has not been decided if he's playing this week, but he has entered the practice window. He's back on the practice field and all that kind of stuff. But you mentioned Isaiah Hodgins, Brandon. This is the Matt Citak stat right here. The Giants have won 5 straight games in which Hodgins has caught a touchdown. That's something Matt would say.
Good job, Matt. Even though Madelyn said it.
I was like, I feel like I had to give you credit because I'm like, I'm gonna pull my best Matt with this one.
So now, and I'm going to throw it to you, Matt. So now let's throw wrinkles. Like you say, like it doesn't have to be run the ball to Saquon, run the ball to Saquon. You saw them insert Matt Breida this past week, going 2-back systems, T formation or veer formation. They were doing some things. So now opening up even more. You've shown that you've Tommy DeVito has shown that everything that you've thrown at him, he's handled it plus some. He's gotten better at not taking sacks. He's gotten better at running, using his legs. He's gotten better at distributing the ball to different guys. So I see it as like if you remove Daniel Bellinger, whichever tight end that is, bring in Hodgins now, a big body guy who is selfless and will still block. get him involved in that offense a little bit more. You throw a wrinkle up in there, Matt, and now not only can you RPO off that, you can run the ball with Saquon as well, and it gives you a completely different personnel package to attack that Saints defense.
Yeah, for sure. And, first on Hodgins, great stat, Madeline. Love it. I just need to, I think we all tip our hat to that touchdown that he had on Monday night. Tip that to both him and Tommy, because that was clearly, as coach alluded to it, that was improvised. Like Tommy scrambled out of the pocket because facing pressure. Isaiah saw him scrambling and then changed his route and just ran to the right to the corner of the end zone where Tommy had a perfect pass. Like that was the only way that pass was going to get completed, is if he threw it in that exact spot. Isaiah made a great catch, got both feet in, touchdown catches in 2 straight games. He's been playing great. And, as just said, touchdown catches in 2 straight games. He only has 3 catches in the last 2 games, 2 of which have gone for key touchdowns. The other one was against New England, the only touchdown the Giants scored in that game. So Isaiah been playing great despite, potential, like maybe not getting as many looks as he was getting towards the end of last season. And then the other thing I just want to talk about with the offense, and Brandon just alluded to it kind of quickly, is Tommy did not get sacked on Monday night. Is the first time all season that the offensive line or the entire offense did not surrender a sack. And the biggest factor in that, because Tommy was still getting pressured, the Packers were still in his face a decent amount. But the thing that Tommy did, which honestly, I don't think we've really seen a quarterback do it for the Giants so far this season. It wasn't until since Daniel Jones last year, was as soon as Tommy saw a little bit of pressure coming at him, he tucked the ball and just immediately started running with it. He didn't try to scramble, didn't try to like make some room for himself in the pocket to give his receivers a little bit extra time. He said, I see them coming at me, I'm just running upfield immediately. And what did that result in? Resulted in 71 rushing yards for Tommy.
Matt.
And played a humongous part in the offense being able to drive the ball down the field against the Packers.
Absolutely.
And I like what you said, because he started to say the offensive line gave up, but then you said, no, the offense gave or didn't give up a certain amount of sacks. And anything that goes into any statistic, whether it's a wide receiver statistic, quarterback, running back, whatever it is, offensive line play, it's a collective effort, right? And Dayball was saying how collectively they were working on their scramble drills. When I played against Green Bay back in the day, you knew that they had a second route when Aaron Rodgers got outside the pocket. Tommy DeVito, he has fallen into this quarterback of he can create off-schedule plays. And if you haven't practiced with him, you won't know what to do. You'll just be standing there looking around. They have been practicing that. And Tommy DeVito, he has a knack now for getting outside the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, and creating those off-schedule plays. Now that the Giants are practicing that, I think they're fitting this offense to mold around Tommy DeVito and what he can do, because every single week I think he's proven us that he can do more and more things, and I think the offense is going to continue to expand and I think fit him a little bit better and his play style. And it's not just the offensive line, it's not just the receivers, it's everybody involved, including Kafka.
It's a collective
Basically
order.
what they're saying, what they just said, Madeline, is Tommy DeVito in the pocket was me in the club past 11:45. Time to get up out of there. Time to get up out of there.
I was like, Brandon in the club past 11:45 could be a lot of different things. So.
Let's get up out of there. Let's get up out of there.
I ain't showing up to at least 11:40. That's the earliest I'm gonna get to any club.
I got a
That's another
baby at home.
Conversation right there.
That's fair. That is fair. But you know what? I do want to give a little bit of credit to the offensive line, even though it is a collective of the offense. The offensive line did play quite well, so well, in fact, that the game ball went to them as a unit at the end of that game. And getting a win in primetime on Monday Night Football, it's just got to be such good momentum for this team. I mean, Tommy DeVito getting 3 straight wins as a rookie, too, and as a collective.
How electric was Monday night, bro? How electric was Monday night at MetLife?
But it was also,
my gosh,
it was one of those things too. There were a lot of Packers fans. Packers fans travel well,
absolutely.
and it was we were setting up for the post game show, and there were moments in which you would hear a crowd roar, and I'd be like having to pick out which jerseys were roaring because it was so kind of split. And that's not a dig to Giants fans. That is just a hat tip to how well Packers fans travel. And so that was such an incredible environment. That being said, Sunday afternoon. Whew, I know they've been practicing in the dome. I know it's going to be, or in the field house. I know it's going to be so loud in there. It's just, yeah.
But you almost coming off of a win like that, 3 straight wins, it's almost like this team is going to embrace that.
But it's like
remember last year when they went in and they beat Minnesota, and then the walk in your trap and take over your trap.
Hey.
This team is due. They're due for something like that, JC. You know what I'm saying?
It's also interesting because Tommy DeVito has talked about this, that each week, he himself personally has been put in a position that he hadn't before as a starter. This last week, it was that, minute and a half on the clock, bring the team down the field. How can you close out a game-winning drive? This week, it's all right, the silent count, the loud environment. This is the next challenge. It's like working your way up to Bowser's Castle. And when you look at how, Matt, when you look at how Tommy has attacked each of these challenges so far and the next one at hand, what do you make of that?
Well, first off, I just want to go back real quick to one thing on the offensive line. Just want to give a very quick shout out to Mark Lewinsky. Yeah. That block he had on Saquon's first touchdown run, he came in as an extra blocker and he swung around and paved the way for Saquon to get in there. That was a great play. And for someone who's been a veteran in the league for years, was a starter last year, started the season as a starter, moved back to the bench, has been coming in for a couple of plays. That was a great play, and I just want to give him his props for that. About Tommy and preparing for this week's matchup in a very tough environment. Wink alluded to this during his press conference earlier, in that this is not Tommy's first time doing this, because his first start as an NFL quarterback was against the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Mm-hmm. And while I will say the Superdome is louder than AT&T Stadium, that is a pretty electric environment there as well. Now, the Giants, of course, they did not end up victorious in that game against Dallas. However, that was Tommy's first time really getting his feet wet, with a full week of preparation as the starting quarterback. This time around with a lot more confidence after winning 3 straight games, after winning NFC Offensive Player of the Week, winning Rookie of the Week on 2 separate occasions. I think Tommy's going to go into this building a completely different quarterback than when he walked into Dallas a little over a month ago. And I think he's going to be able to handle the crowd noise and as loud as the Superdome is going to be.
Yeah.
I like it. I like to see it. And yeah, winning NFC Player of the Week and NFC Rookie of the Week this week too. A lot of credit to Tommy DeVito, young man, for getting that done.
Is his agent going to be there? Is his agent going to be there?
Sean Solano's going to be there. He said that the outfit he's wearing in New Orleans will put the one that he wore on Monday Night Football to shame. Man. So open up those cedar closets, Sean.
Agent. Stop talking, agent.
Hey.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
I got to take care of my guy, Tommy, okay? I got a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Oh, did you see Victor Cruz's agent? All in the videos and all. No, let this kid rock, man. Yes. Because remember,
let it be about Tommy DeVito and Tommy DeVito's.
But that's not Tommy's fault.
It's not Tommy's fault at all. No,
our fault as media covering him. Listen, because I watched the TV copy during the game. His dad was on TV as much as anybody that was on TV.
His dad is our Taylor Swift, and I am here for it.
I like him. He's a real thing though. Like pregame, I was able to go by the tailgate. Mm-hmm. I got to see him. How you doing? Keep it moving. They had all the Italians around. They had the sausage. They had the spaghetti. They did it right. They tailgate. They did it right. I don't know if were you able to stop by there, B?
Yeah, I went by there for a little bit, say hello.
They were doing it right, though, wasn't they?
But listen, Tommy DeVito is about his business. He's a steady hand. He's about the football, all that kind of stuff. His family is a New Jersey family that is, rooted for the Giants for years. And now they're seeing, Brandon, if BL2 is out there starting for the Giants and galvanizing the town, you're going to be proud too, right? If Brandon London Jr. goes out there and just like, you're going to be like, that's my boy. I'm so proud. So you know what? I can appreciate them enjoying the success.
I'm out there at the coin flip, JC. I'm out there at the coin flip. I'm John Morant's dad. I'm fighting Shannon Sharp on the sideline, man. I'm gonna be one of them dads. I'll let you know. So shout out to Mr. DeVito for just playing it back like that. Cause me, I'd been on First Take yesterday. Talking about types of noise.
Exactly. Well, we got a lot to look forward to Sunday afternoon when the Giants take on the Saints in New Orleans at the Superdome. That's a wrap for Week 15 Giants Hangout. Brandon London, Jonathan Casillas, Matt Citak, and Madelyn Burke. We'll see you next time.